Hello, how are you doing? Let's continue to learn and don't forget to practice. Figma is a popular web designing tool that allows web designers to check real-time designs in a shared file. This session begins with the definition of Figma as a well-known vector graphics editor and a prototyping tool. Then it talks about features like offline mode, availability on the desktop, web browser, and mobile applications. Next, it gives the different roles that Figma handles at the same time, like designing, prototyping, etc., and speaks about its real-time collaboration feature. It then talks about the single URL sharing feature, which works on different platforms like Windows, Linux, etc. Following this, it explains the advantages of the free starter pack like unlimited storage, unlimited free viewers, etc., and then explains the details of the paid plans. The paid plans of Figma offer additional benefits like team libraries and audio conversations, while the professional plan is the best choice for educators, students, etc. Moving forward, it gives a detailed understanding of the additional features such as font installer, importing sketch files with accuracy, Dropbox paper, styles including colors, texts, effects, etc., groups, frames, artboards, prototyping, etc. Next, it explains the different ways of using a Figma style when designing your web content, components, and their various uses. Then it explains different types of prototyping and sums up with a detailed explanation of Figma's feedback and coding features. Additionally, it also explains features like file exporting and inserting plugins such as Zeppelin. So, get ready to create lively and colorful content with Figma.
Welcome to the Figma module. So what is Figma? Figma is a very popular vector graphics editor and a prototyping tool, which is primarily web-based. You don't even have to download it to use it. You can simply use it on any web browser. And it also offers you additional feature of a web desktop application for Mac OS and Windows. So if you like, you can use it on the web browser. If you like, you can download the application version of it, desktop application version of it, and use it. It works in a web browser, but there is also a desktop app that lets you work offline anywhere and anytime. Everything in one place. Figma brings everything in one place, from designing to prototyping, giving the hands-off to the developers, taking feedback from clients, and managing the versioning of your applications. So everything can be done in one place. Figma offers you a great real-time collaboration between the members of the team. They can work on the same file, share their ideas instantly, test, and make updates on the fly within the application. Figma also includes everyone in team in the process by sharing a single live URL that works on any platform. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. The starter plan of the Figma is free. You can create these 3 projects into it. You have an unlimited file storage, and you have unlimited free viewers and version history in Figma. But Figma also offers you paid plans. So the free plan we have already discussed. The free plan gives you access to the Figma Professional. The additional things you have in the professional version are you can create team libraries and you can do audio conversations within the same project. So, these are a few additional features you get in the professional version. But if you're a student, you can also sign up for the student plan, and or if you are an educator, you can sign up for the educator license and you get all the features of Figma Professional. But if you're just a freelancer, just want to get started with Figma, Figma Free is the best option for anybody out there. The other features Figma has is that Figma gives you a font installer. You can use Google Fonts in Figma. But if you like to use your own system fonts in Figma, you can download an add-on from the Figma website, which basically lets you use your local system fonts in it. Figma is able to import sketch files with extreme accuracy. Sketch are very popular software for Mac OS to design the UIs and the web layouts. So if you have been using Sketch and if you want to move to Figma, you can import your Sketch designs in Figma without any issues. You also have the option of live share. If you click on someone's avatar, you can see what they are seeing on their screen. And you can also follow their cursor around. You also have an integration enabled with Dropbox Paper, where you can embed Figma projects into the Dropbox Paper for sharing with other stakeholders. Figma has a great feature of styles. These style features allow you to define a set of properties of an object. You can save it as a preset and you can use it wherever you want. With styles, we can save the colors, the text styles, effect styles, and the layout grid style in the Figma. And they can also be shared with other projects. So for example, you are working on the application that is to be created on the web and you also want to create its mobile app. But the style guide or the colors will almost remain the same for both. So once you create one version of it, and if you try to create another version of the same application, you can use the existing styles. Styles are also a very important feature in Figma. When you want to share these styles with the developers, so that they can use the CSS code of it. In the Figma, you can also apply multiple styles to the same text box, simply by highlighting a portion of the text. So that's possible. Styles can be shared by publishing them to your team library, but this feature is only available in the professional version. And this allows you to easily establish and maintain consistent style across your team projects. The group is mainly a group of things where you can group multiple objects together and you can move them around easily. Another concept you have in Figma is frames. Frames are kind of containers which have their own size and they can manage some constraints on the objects. And also they can clip the content. So you can consider this outline as a kind of a frame, where your design is embedded inside of it. You also have a concept of artboards. It's a specific way of working where you can simply draw a rectangle and call it an artboard. Or you can make a frame and then call it an artboard. In many softwares like Adobe Illustrator or in these softwares, we will generally call the outline of any page as artboard, but in Figma, we call it a frame. The components are the backbone of Figma, and they are very similar to symbols. If you have used Adobe Illustrator or any similar application where you might have seen symbols, components are very similar to symbols, and what it means is that you create one master object and then you can create multiple copies of it. And whenever you change the master object, all the multiple copies of it get changed. So that's in short what components are in Figma. Let's look at how they differ from symbols. So you can access and modify the properties of any layer in a component without detaching it from the master. Figma introduced the idea of master components and instances. The second comparison we have is you do not have to worry about the naming structure when you're creating the components. To create a category of components, just group them in the frame and you can name the frame to what category it belongs to. So that makes the organizing and reutilizing of the components easy. The third comparison we have is you can find and see components in the Assets panel as a list of thumbnails. You can also add components to a screen, or you can also swap the component just by drag and drop on the canvas. The fourth comparison we have is, if needed, you can edit the master component in context of larger view in the isolation mode. The other great feature we have in Figma is the prototyping. In Figma, you not only can create a static website design or a web or a mobile UI layout, but you can also give it a live experience using the prototyping features. Figma prototypes are live documents. When you make changes to the original design, they will be reflected immediately in the prototype. In the prototyping features, you can add transitions between the screens. Choose the device frame where you want to preview it. In case you're creating a UI for iPhones or Android mobile phones. You can also have fixed objects which can attach to your screen, and you can create experiences like sticky menus or sticky buttons. Also, Figma offers you the vertical and horizontal scrolling in the groups. You can enable scrolling through individual shapes within a pane frame, which can be scrollable in itself. So the prototyping feature of Figma really brings your designs to life and people can interact with it. The other great feature you have in Figma is the feedback. Anyone with the link can comment anywhere on the design. Similar to how you comment in other softwares like InVision. You can tag people in comments, mark the comments as resolved, and even integrate with applications like Slack or Microsoft Teams if needed. Another feature we have in Figma is the coding. You don't actually write the codes, but what we mean by coding is that you can get colors, typography, dimension and assets out of Figma to give it to the coder or the web developer or a mobile UI developer who will be creating the app. So all this can be handed over to the developer much easily, because in Figma you have option of exporting your designs. Also you have the option of getting the CSS code or the iOS or Android code in the inspect menu of Figma. Just not that, in Figma you can also install plugins, and one of the important plugins you have for Figma is Zeppelin. And using the Zeppelin plugin you can give all your library styles, colors and the spacing details to the developer so they can easily develop the code. So these are the broad features we have discussed about Figma. Now we will get started with Figma as the practical demo.
Tell me about your first experience with online designing tools. The experience that you gained when you used it for the first time.
I started using Figma to create wireframes. The first time I logged in for using it, I thought to myself that I have found a really great tool. Figma is quite easy to get used to. I have created many demo wireframes using this tool. Then I have used WordPress, Wix.com, Zyro, etc. types of online designing tools.
Welcome again. We know you are learning a lot of new topics. To make it easier for you to remember your lessons, it is necessary to practice by yourself. Let's continue learning. Web designers use different tools to create an attractive web page for your website. One such amazing tool is Figma. This session starts with a detailed demo process of creating a web page using Figma. It first shows how to set a frame and then decides on the page styles and page layout. Next, the header logos are created by typing, adjusting, and selecting the proper texts, shapes, colors, etc. Following this, the session teaches us the process of creating component variations. Then it shows how to place master components in a separate frame and use it later for your desired web page creation. Moving ahead, it talks about creating the navigation options like About Us, Portfolio, etc. for your web page. Finally, the session sums up with some more component creations and the creation of instances as well. Hence, Figma is one of your popular options to create a wonderful web page for your website.
What I will be doing is I will be creating a new page. The page 1 which we will have will be for our main website, and additional components, the master components, we are going to create on a different page. That's how I like to organize my document. We will click on plus. And we can call this as a style guide. It will be a style guide page. Here we can just take any frame. So go to the frame, we take on one frame. I can just take the same frame here and we can name this if you want. Now let's create the navigation bar. What I can do is I want the same grid layout here. So I can design as per the same size. So for that we can go back to the page. We will go to the home frame. We have a layout grid set here. We are going to convert it to a style. That means we are going to save it as a preset. So we can use it there. So I can click on these 4 dots, click on the plus again and name the style. And if I go to the style guide, select the navbar frame, go to the layout grid, click on these 4 dots. And you can see the web grid here. So if I click here, it gets applied. Now let's design the header. First, let's create the text for the logo. Go to the text tool, click here and write create. Remove that dash which is there. Use Ctrl A to select everything. And I will change the text size to 36. Keep it here. We are going to make all letters uppercase by going to these 3 dots. And you will find the letter case option and make it all capitals. So we keep it as create as it is here. Then I will zoom in here and create the logo style. So I want to create something like this. So you see, this is the specially designed icon for our website. So for designing this, I will go back to the page and let's create that icon and let's see how can you create it. For that, I'm going to use a polygon tool. Select the polygon tool. Click and drag. You will see a triangle forming out. Press the shift key to maintain the proportion of this triangle. Here. And create a triangle like this. You can simply click and drag to create the triangle here. So what I will do is, I will go to this polygon tool and create a triangle. I'm going to create like this. The size of this triangle is 122 by 122. Now I want to change its color first. So we will go to the colors. We are going to take a bright pink color of a reddish shade, but not exactly pink, but a little bit of red shade to it. Now we are going to save this color because this will be the primary color of our app. So I will go to the styles again, click on the plus sign and name this as the primary color. So after naming it, let's click on create style and save that. Now, what we are going to do is basically we are going to use this color in the stroke at a later stage. But first let's change the size of this polygon to 4. So you can see it has 3 sides to it. Let's make it 4 here. We will just keep it up here. And we are going to edit this shape. To edit the shape, you double click on it to see all the 4 vector points of it. I will go to the one of the vector points here and delete it. And you can see it's deleted. Now we are just left with the stroke or the outline. And we currently don't have any stroke color here. Let's click on style. Select the primary color and increase the stroke. We are going to keep it around 20 and make the edges rounded. So you go to drop down here, make it rounded and also make this edge rounded. For doing that, you can go to the 3 dots and you can change the join option to rounded instead of corner. As you can see, we are getting closer to our shape. Let's remove the fill color as we don't need that. Click on minus And now I will click on done here. So I'm done editing it. Let's keep it here. We are going to make it smaller. Let's scale this up. For scaling this up, make sure you go to the scale tool and scale this down. So I'm pressing the shift to scale in proportions and scale this down. Let's zoom in a bit more. Press spacebar, navigate. I'm going to keep it closer to it so we can just scale it as per the size of the text. So it's almost fitting to the text. So we have one arrow. What we are going to do is we are going to take a duplicate of it, press Alt, click and drag to duplicate it, and you can reflect it by right clicking flip horizontally. And you can see we have our shape ready like this. We are going to select both of them, and I'm also going to convert this stroke into a fill. That's always recommended. So I'll right click and say convert to outline stroke. This stroke will basically change to a filled shape, and you can see our logo is ready. We want to create variations of it. We are going to have a variation of black and white logo, and for that we are going to create a component variation here. Let's see how we can do that now. So first of all, I'm going to select these two together and press Ctrl G to group it, and also select the text create here with the arrows and right click to select group selection, and then convert to a component. Let's right click again and select create component. Once any object is converted to a component, you would see that it's highlighted by the purple color. And this is our master component. We are going to name this as a logo. Now in this component, you can also create variations because I want to have variations of black and white. So components also support multiple variants to it. What we can do is go to the design. We have the variants. We'll click on the plus sign and we are going to change the color of the second variant. We can see variant 2. Let's rename it also. I'm going to change this text color to white. It will not be visible because it's completely white now. Let's make it white and we have the white logo variant. So it's a component with the variant. Let's rename this one also to black. And we are going to rename the property. We are going to change the property name to color. So you go to the main component here, rename the property to color. Now this is a master variant. How do I know this is a master variant? If you click here, you can see these 4 boxes next to it. All these 4 boxes mean it's a variant. If I zoom out, I will always recommend not to keep the master variants in the main working area. So this will be the navigation bar which we have designed. For master components, I generally create a new frame. So I will take a new frame. That's a better way of organizing it. Name this as masters and keep all my master components here. Then simply click and drag this to keep it here. Now how do we add that logo here? We can go to the assets. In the masters, you can see we have the logo here. Now under the assets, I can simply click and drag to use it here. And you can see that component is placed. And you can see this component is now placed as an instance of it. So if you go to the layers, this is an instance because you can see this diamond is empty. The master components have a diamond with 4 boxes. So this means this is an instance of the master, and whatever changes I do in the master component will be reflected in the instance here. So let me zoom in. Let's keep this create text here. We are going to fit properly into 2 grid. It's already coming there. That's great. And you can see it has a variant to it. So if we go to the color, we can choose between the black color or a white color. We're going to keep it black as of now. Then we need the navigation options like portfolio, about us, and contact. So let's create that. Go to the normal text tool here. I will simply click here and write portfolio. Let's write portfolio, and I'm somehow getting this arrow. Keep it here, and we don't want full caps. Let's go down. We are going to change from 3 dots to normal caps, the way I typed it. And I'm going to keep the size little bit smaller to 24. Or I think we can keep it 36. Let's try 34. We'll keep it 34, and I'm also going to create a style out of it. I'm going to create a new text style and click on the plus sign to create a style. So when I create the other text, it will get saved in it. And also let's change its color from black to gray. So let's go here, make the color little bit gray in between over here and save this gray color. We can go over here. So we have got here, click on plus. Now I will have multiple gray colors, so I generally code them. So this is a lighter gray, and we will save it as a 400 gray and create this style. Now what we are going to do is we will take multiple copies of it, and I'm also going to convert it to a component here. There's a reason why I'm going to convert it to a component. You will understand that in a minute. So how the components could be useful? I want to convert this text portfolio into a component. Let's create a component. Let's convert it to a component. You can see this is a master component here, and what I will be doing is I will be keeping all the master components here as of now. We'll take a copy of it, press Alt, click and drag to duplicate. We need to take a copy with the Alt. As you can see, it creates an instance of it.
What inspired you to join the UI UX field particularly?
I think I always knew that art is my field. Soon after discovering what UI and UX are, I knew I was interested to work in this field. During my research, I also observed a few websites and apps. I wondered why are they successful? It's because of their user interface and look and feel. I started exploring web designing tools, and Figma was definitely a good find. It supports the idea of UI and UX design.